Number 4, music notation. Notation is a system of writing music so that specific pitches and rhythms can be communicated. Notating pitch with music notation can indicate the exact pitches, upward or downward placement of these symbols on what's called a staff. Okay, so here's a staff right here. It's got 5 lines. This is a clef, okay? This tells us there's different types of clefs. Low instruments use a different clef than this clef. Singers, bass singers, often use a bass clef, and most of the other singers will use some sort of treble clef, and that's what that is. And here are the notes, the placement of notes. This is A, B, and C, all right? And up here is, again, A, B, and C, but it's way up there. Music notation. Okay, there's several things in notating music that we can talk about. Here's a clef. This is called a treble clef. This is called a bass clef. Here are notes that revolve around the piano. I'm not that interested in you learning about all of this, just to understand, because you might sometimes run into things. Then you have something called notating rhythm. We have whole notes, like this whole note is worth 4 beats in this particular case. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whereas you can divide it in half and you get 2 half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. You divide it into 4s, you can get quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can divide it into 8th notes and you get 1, 2, 3, 4. But anyways, and then 16th, and it just goes on like that. So these various stems and flags are the rhythmic notation, okay? And then there's notating silence, which is rests, and these are the types of rests you run into, okay? And the last thing is notating meter. Notating meter is your time signature. Most people are gonna tell you that it's like a fraction, but it's really just a number over another number. And they're gonna say the top number represents how many beats are in the measure, and the low number represents what note gets the beat. The top number represents how many beats are in the measure, and the lower number represents what note gets the beat. And that is true generally, but actually it's a little bit more complicated than that. But for example, 4/4, there's 4 beats in the measure, and the 4 means quarter. There's 4 quarter notes in the beat. 5, melody. For many of us, music means melody. The melody is a series of single tones that add up to some sort of recognizable whole. The melody begins and moves and ends. It has direction, shape, and continuity, like Happy Birthday, so on and so forth. Number 6, harmony. Harmony refers to the way chords are constructed and how they follow each other. When I went to here, it almost always goes back here. Consonance and dissonance. Some chords have been considered stable and restful, while other chords are unstable and tense. A tone combination that is stable is called a consonance. These are consonant chords. Those are all pretty consonant, all right? They're usually to some degree, consonants are points of arrival. Okay, but they're pretty peaceful chords. And then you have tone combinations that are dissonant, and tension demands onward motion to a stable chord. Let me just play a dissonant chord for you. Dissonance is these 2 notes. And that requires resolution there. So the full chord would resolve something like that. 7, key. All familiar melodies are built around some sort of central tone, and that tone gravitates onto which the melody usually ends. And it often starts with that, okay? I could start with something else. There's my central tone. That happened to be C, just so you know. So we call that the tonic. There's a name for every scale degree, but we're just not going to worry about that. The tonic or the key we're in. Tonality. Key then refers to some presence of the central note, scale, or chord within a piece. All the other tones are heard in relationship to them. So there was that C. Here's that C chord. It could be C. It could be that C chord too. It could be that key and play the same thing, except we're in this little minor key. Another term for key is tonality. So again, tonality refers to the presence of a central note, scale, or chord within a piece.